Okay, I'm going to show you how I make oatcakes. My family are from Glasgow, not Staffordshire, so to me that's a little biscuit, not a big pancake. If you were hoping for the pancakes, you're going to be disappointed. I turned my oven on to 175 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit, and I have lined 2 trays with baking paper. These are really easy to do, and to be honest, a little one could make them. First thing I'm going to do is I need to check my recipe. I've got it written down here. I'm going to put 2 cups of oats into the food processor. I've got gluten-free oats because that's what my family needs, but I have made these with just cheapy value oats from the supermarket and they work absolutely fine. So 2 cups of oats. Don't be too precise. Weigh them out into the food processor, and they just need a little pulse, not a big pulse, just a wee pulse. You just want to chop them up just a little bit so they're not quite as big as they were, but not so much that you have flour. The next thing you want to do is, in a small saucepan, put 1/4 cup of butter, or I use Flora Buttery because of Pip being allergic to dairy, or you can use coconut oil if you're feeling particularly virtuous and want to look after your brain, because it's really good for the synapses in the brain, is coconut oil, and it can help pathways to heal if you've got some minor brain trauma or damage happening there. Let's wipe my finger. So that's 1/4 cup of butter, and I'm adding into there 2 tablespoons of honey. So I've got 1, and you can see I'm really not being terribly precise about this. 2. That's the second one. If you're vegan, obviously you can't use honey, so you could use maple syrup, or you could use agave if that floated your boat. Right, let's try this. I'm going to pop it onto the hob, and I'm just going to melt it till it bubbles. So I'll leave that there a moment. So back over here to the food processor, and I'm going to add into there 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and I also need 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I have forgotten, so you have to excuse me a moment, and I think my cameraman's going to pass it to me. Thank you very much. See, it's like the hand in the Addams family, it just appears with something useful. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Obviously, if you're on a low salt diet, or you don't like anything with a bit of a salty edge, take it out. It doesn't matter if it's there. We like it. For a very long while, my children, when they were small, thought these were biscuits. We eat them as they are, straight out the oven. We have them with jam on, a little bit of peanut butter, we have them with cheese, so they really are versatile. Lid back on, quickly whip that in. Next job is to add in your honey and your butter when it's melted. Mine's not quite melted yet. Just give it a little while longer. I was racing a bit there, wasn't I? Won't take long. While that melts, I'm going to get, just from the tap, it doesn't need to be boiling hot, but it does need to be warm, 1/2 cup of water ready. So 1/2 cup of water. And this is where the magic happens. So, pan of butter and honey, pour it in to the oats, the baking soda, the salt that you've got in here. Oh, it all goes in just like that. If you're doing this with children, please get a grown-up to do the pan, because it frightens me, small children and hot pans. Back on the processor, quick whiz. starts to come together a little bit like a crumble top. And then, with the motor running, get your cup of water, or half a cup of water, and slowly add the water. And you probably won't need all of it. And it will come together into a ball. Into a bit of a dough there. Mine's too wet. I don't know what I've done wrong there. See, it can go wrong even to the best of people. But actually, that's really good if I've shown you that it can go too sticky, because all you do, get your oats, just add a shake more oats, not too many more. Pulse it up again. Have I got a dough? Nearly. And you can just do what I'm doing now and just eyeball it and just add a few more oats at a time. Saves wasting any ingredients, and it just means you get more biscuits. There we go. I think we've got it this time. Still just a little stickier than I'd like, because you'll have me saying bad words in front of the camera. So, a few more oats. That's better. And you probably can't see, but it all gathered into a ball. So if that happens to you, because I didn't even use all that half cup of water, if that happens to you, just simply add a few more oats. It's not a big drama. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on. I'm wondering actually, that's fine. A little bit of flour on my mat. Not a lot, just a dusting, just so it doesn't stick, particularly as this mix is a bit wet today, and I floured my hands. And I've taken the blade out so there's no injuries. And scrape the oatcake mix out with my hands. I've got lovely clean hands. So all we're doing at the minute is washing our hands. Scrape it out, every last bit. If you've got children that are insistent on licking the bowl, they can lick this out and they're not going to come to a nasty perilous end, because there's no eggs, nothing raw in it. Wash my sticky fingers. This apron will go in the wash afterwards, so I'll give them a quick drying like that. Got a lovely ball of oatcake there. Just flouring it lightly so that it doesn't stick. And you're going to roll it out. Just move it around while you're rolling. Make sure it's not sticking. If you think it's going to stick, dust a wee bit more flour. Doesn't need to be a lot. Okay. So, and you want it to be about as thick as an old 5p or shilling piece. So modern coins are quite a bit thinner, but it needs to be fairly thin. I'll try and show you in a minute. I'll hold one up for the camera. And you can make them as big or as small as you like. I've got about 2-inch cutter there, I think. So cut them out. And if I hold that one up, you can see sort of how thick it needs to be. I'll bring it into the camera there. I'm going to pop them onto my baking tray. They don't spread, so I wouldn't put them nose to bottom. But equally, it doesn't matter if they are a bit crowded up, because nothing bad's going to happen. So, with these out, like this, you can see ever so quick to do, even with me fluffing up the dough. It has been a really quick bake. Lovely with a cup of tea, lovely with the topping on. Have them, honestly, however you enjoy. Really cheap to make. If you use value oats and value honey, you can make these for literally pennies. I'm thinking off the top of my head what those things cost in Tesco's. You could make a batch of these for about 40–50 pence. So I think that's only a tiny little bit more than a value pack of biscuits. You know exactly what's gone in these. There's no refined sugar. Just scrunch all your bits of dough that you've got left. Bring them back together. Re-roll. And keep re-rolling and cutting out until you've used it all up. Where was I? Biscuits. Yes. They cost just a smidge more than a packet of supermarket biscuits. You know exactly what's in these. There's no refined sugar. They are oats, which are going to give you nice slow release energy. So you're not going to eat, you know, 3–4 of these and think, oh, I need to eat the packet. You probably find you're quite satisfied with those. So nearly done. And then what I'll do is I'll put these in the oven. I'll get my cameraman to turn the camera off. And we'll come back in a minute when they're cooked and I can show them to you. We'll turn the camera back on and I can show them to you cooked. So let's see how we're doing. So far I have made 12, 18, 19. You see it is quite a long-suffering dough. You could easily let children do this. They can't come to any real harm with it. Just obviously careful with the blade, careful with the hot saucepan, but once those bits are done, easy peasy. Right. Nearly finished, guys. Let's last little bit. How long have we been filming, cameraman?
I'd say around 12 minutes, I'd guess.
You go. So, 12 minutes, not really an enormous amount of work. I mean, we're not talking soufflés here, are we? 12 minutes later, and I have got 12, 18, 19, 20, hang on. I've got 9 over there, 9 there's 18, 19, 20, 21, and this one isn't enough to roll out, so I'm literally going to make a ball, hopefully. I think it's got a bit dry now, and squish it because I don't want to waste anything. I haven't got any dough left. It's my last oatcake. 12 minutes, 21 oatcakes, and about 40–50 pence of ingredients. I'll go and cook them, and I'll show you what they look like in a minute. And in true Blue Peter fashion, here's some I made earlier. These are them when they're finished and out the oven. You can see they're toasty brown on the bottom, golden on the top. And I will leave them to cool on the tray before I put them into an airtight tub. They will keep in an airtight container for 2 weeks. They keep longer in a tin or a glass tight jar than in Tupperware. They do keep for 2 weeks. I'm going to be lucky if there's any of these left at bedtime with the gannets I live with. May the odds ever be in your favour. Till the next time.